The first recorded game of basketball in the province of Manitoba was in the year 1900. So that would be only 9 years after its invention. And according to the records we have, limited as they may be, the score in that game, we don't know the names of the teams, but the score was 4-1.
Wow, 4-1.
And it was played, yes, and it was played at the old drill hall building, which used to be at the corner of Broadway and Osborne. Now, when Naismith invented the game, he only had 13 rules that he had for the game of basketball, which is really interesting because now when you look at a rule book for basketball, there's over 100 pages. So the game was probably played with a lot of confusion and a lot of growth and learning that had to be done, because in fact, I wish we had a tape of it, because it probably would be pretty comical.
When people think of pro basketball, the start of pro basketball here, a lot of people would think about the Toilers, if you want to go that far back in history.
Senior men's basketball was the best basketball played. It was better than university, better than anything played in the schools, better than any junior leagues. So it was the top, we could call it almost a professional league. According to the records, these were a group of young men who were good friends of each other, who lived in Fort Garry. As a matter of fact, on Riverside Park, there is a Toilers Park. And according to the records, there was a clubhouse there that these young men would gather. And they knew each other very well. And they started this team called the Toilers in the middle 20s. And from the middle 20s to the early 30s, they won 3 national senior men's championships. They were the best we had in those days. In 1933, they were in Tulsa, Oklahoma, playing a game there because they looked for competition, better competition outside of Canada. And they had gone there to play a team in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and on the flight back, the plane crashed. And a number of the Toilers were injured, 2 were killed. And so that really ended the era of the Toilers, because for a lot of reasons, the team was never really able to get back together again, and they maybe saw it as an end of an era, which it was. The Thunders were here 1992 to 1994. They were the first really pro basketball team to play out of Winnipeg. They played out of the old Winnipeg Arena. The interest, the number of people who would go really didn't make it economically viable, and that's probably why it ended. Although another bigger problem was most of the teams, all of them were in the United States, and so distances became an issue. And distances mean cost, and so not only for teams to come here, but for the Thunder to go other places became very expensive. And really it came down to dollars and cents, and the team, as I said, only lasted the 2 years. The Cyclone were here, and they were, I think it was 96 to 2001. They were reasonably successful, and they played out of the RBC Convention Center, which again was a much better venue just based on the size of it. And they played for, as I said, I believe it was 5 seasons in the convention center. They used to call it the Wind Tunnel. And they had some very interesting people like Daryl Dawkins. He coached the Cyclone for 1 year. And his nickname was Chocolate Thunder when he played, because he was one of the first in the NBA that started to tear down backboards before they had breakaway rims and all that with his ferocious dunks.
Is there an appetite for pro basketball in the city, do you think?
I think so, and I think more than there's ever been. First of all, the basketball community has grown tremendously. We have hundreds of thousands of people playing the game of basketball now. And one big area that I could mention is the large influx of Filipinos to Winnipeg. Like, the Filipino population is crazy about basketball. There are a lot of Filipino leagues. I think the time is right. The game of basketball is for sure a global game now.
Thank you for watching the CBC Manitoba YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. For the latest breaking news and top stories, download the CBC News app.